Rather lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We are diving into the latest around Arsenal. Arsenal very close to signing Mykhaylo Mudryk. It is hours away. An agreement is hours away with Shakhtar. We're going to be discussing that in this story. So much details to put in this one because we're getting updates from Fabrizio Romano. We're getting updates from other credible sources that the deal is nearly done. Of course, we're going to also be diving into the next signings. Yuri Tillemans and Serge Milinkovic-Savic could be the next focus when Arsenal sign Mykhaylo Mudryk. So hit the like button for me. Let's get this video to 600 likes. Subscribe to the podcast as well. And in the comment section, let me know. Do you feel now it is over? Do you feel now it is actually done? We've been talking about this deal for almost two months now since the summer. And I personally said, I have a feeling this deal will get done. And look, it was always going to take some time. It was always going to take some patience. Arsenal finally done it. We are getting our man. So first and foremost, yesterday, Fabrizio Romano did put out a very, very important expensive tweet, and he confirmed that Arsenal had gone in with the third bid now to Shakhtar Donetsk after vigorous talks, after a couple of pushing back and forth. Arsenal decided they will go in with the third offer after understanding what Shakhtar wanted, of course, also after Shakhtar understanding what Arsenal wanted. The situations remain the same. Arsenal never wanting to pay over 100 million euros for the player, and Shakhtar also never wanting to collect anything below 70 or 80 million euros for the player as well. So there was need for a consensus. There was need for an agreement, either Arsenal raising their offer or Shakhtar reducing their expectations, or actually both clubs doing the same or simultaneously and then reaching a common ground. So yesterday, Fabrizio Romano confirmed that Arsenal did go in with a third bid, and that was actually well received. Talks are ongoing, negotiations are ongoing, and the deal is actually very, very close. Both parties now believe it is very close to being done. This week must be the ultimatum that Shakhtar and Arsenal, we cannot have talks for one player for weeks and weeks. It cannot happen. Yes, it's a big money deal, and it's going to take a lot of patience and time. But come on, 2 weeks should be enough to get this deal over the line. So this week, Arsenal now and Shakhtar are very, very confident that they will get the deal done before we enter next week. He might not be available to play for us against Tottenham Hotspur, but surely will be available for the Manchester United game, unless he has passport issues, unless he has work permit issues. But if he doesn't have, given the fact that he's coming from a European country, and then he's a European as well, I don't expect such kind of problems, work visas and work permits, to actually affect him. So yesterday in the evening, a bid worth 70 million euros plus add-ons was sent in for Shakhtar. It is still lying on the table according to Fabrizio Romano, but it is very, very optimistic. We're very, very optimistic that Shakhtar are going to well receive this, accept it, and Arsenal will get their man. Now, according to what I know still from Fabrizio, it says that we are looking at a few negotiations to actually deal with the add-ons. How much is going to be the add-ons? How much are the add-ons going to be to escalate the deal from 70 million euros probably to 80 or probably to around 90 million euros. I'm going to tell you much of the information that I actually have on this structure, right? So Fabrizio says it is 70 million plus add-ons. That means Arsenal will pay a guaranteed fee of 70 million euros. Now, I'm not really sure if Arsenal are going to pay 50 or 60 million pounds or euros in terms of in terms of upfront fee. He has actually not told us about that, Fabrizio, but he says that at the moment Arsenal have told Shakhtar they will give them 70 million euros guaranteed. That is, if whether the player actually works out or he doesn't work out, whether the player comes at Arsenal and picks up an injury for 4 years, whether the player, no matter what happens, Arsenal will pay 70 million euros to Shakhtar as guaranteed fee. Now, Shakhtar and Arsenal are still pushing back and forth to make sure that we can get the right amount of add-ons to the deal. Of course, you have to remember that Arsenal do not want to escalate the deal into the 90 million euros. Shakhtar are saying, if you're giving us 70 million euros, it would be humble, it would be nice enough for you to push this deal until 90 million euros in terms of add-ins, right? So it is now being believed, with a few sources that have been looking at, apart from Fabrizio, that Arsenal might pay between 80, 85 and 90 million euros in terms of the overall package, and that means that Arsenal will be paying around 20 million euros in terms of add-on. So what do you think about that? What do you think about the structure so far? I think this is much progress. This is very, very good work by Edu and Mykhaylo. First, now we have pushed Shakhtar into that zone where we've given them the right amount of money they want in terms of guaranteed payments. And then maybe the upfront figure is what might cause a couple of problems. But what I think and what I feel about this, and why I say it is pretty much done and dusted, Arsenal have gone in with a third bid after weeks, days, hours, and seconds of talking to Shakhtar, of trying to convince Shakhtar of what we want and trying to understand where they stand. So that is why I feel like this deal for me is actually pretty much done. We've not actually gone in with this bid out of the blue, out of our own valuation, but we've gone in with something that we think will be more of a common ground between us and Shakhtar, right? If Shakhtar have been showing more willingness towards the 70 million euros guaranteed payments, that is what Arsenal have done. So all we have to do is to just iron out the structure, just get the structure right. Tell Shakhtar we can give you 40 million euros of the guaranteed payments up front, and then in the summer, I don't know how we can do it, but give you maybe another 20 million euros or another 30 million euros, and then add-ons will come at a later stage. Talks are now believed to be at final stages, according to Rudy Galetti, the first journalist, by the way, to break this story that talks are at final stages and everything was not Fabrizio Romano. The first journalist was Rudy Galetti, and I didn't report about the story because I felt like I had talked about it so much, and I was waiting for that big update from Fabrizio Romano, right? But the first journalist to break that story, that talks were ongoing smoothly, final stages, and a few things were actually being ironed out, was Rudy Galetti. So big up to Rudy Galetti, although he doesn't get the recognition from many big sources and many big fan channels. I actually choose to recognize him because he broke the story to me actually fast. Now, let's continue with what we understand around this deal. So, Mykhaylo Mudryk, after this, the official bid was sent in, he took to Instagram and posted something that I really don't understand the meaning because I'm not a good person at emojis. And I think it means two things. So, he went to Instagram and posted these two hands. I think if you use a lot of social media, you actually understand. This could be kind of a prayer at times, a symbol for a prayer, or at times it could be an appreciation, gesture. In most cases, I use it as an appreciation gesture when I receive something good or I receive some kind of breakthrough. Then I put my hands together on social media and then I post. So that is what he put on his Instagram, and many people, many sources have actually interpreted it in their own way. A few sources have actually claimed that he's literally thanking God that the deal is done, and a few sources are also saying, look, he's literally gone, God, I pray this time this bid is accepted. So we are still there, but the reaction from Mykhaylo Mudryk literally shows you that this deal is gonna get done. I've told you right from the first, from the start. Yes, he's committed to Shakhtar, like physically, but psychologically and emotionally and everything he's doing, it actually doesn't show any commitment. And Shakhtar would be the biggest fools in the transfer market to let this guy stay at their club. He doesn't want to be there. He clearly wants to be in another place. And for me, I've looked at Shakhtar for some time. They really understand doing business. Getting money out of Arsenal, that was never going to be a problem. They've sold big names, big players for big fees. To China, to Europe, to Brazil, to USA. They've always done that. That is their trade. That is what they do most. They come up, they develop talents, and they eventually sell them. So getting money out of Arsenal was never going to be a problem. They included Napoli, they included Chelsea, and all these clubs were actually never interested in paying 80 million euros, 90 million euros for the guy. But Shakhtar literally do understand that if you want a club, a serious club, to pay real money, all you've got to do is to show them that this is the best price on the market, and if you don't actually act quick, there is another powerhouse that actually wants to take their player, right? They've done that very well. Arsenal fallen for the trick, but then I also kind of feel that Arsenal are always prepared to make this big money move. It was never about Shakhtar and what they wanted. I kind of feel like Arsenal already knew we were gonna pay this amount of money. It was all about testing the waters in the at the initial stages, like 40 million euros for a player who is valued at around 100 million euros. It was more of testing the waters, to see how strong is Shakhtar's resolve, how serious are they about the 100 million euros, and how low can they go in terms of reducing the asking price. And after testing that with the first bid, with the second bid, we've eventually come out and said, okay, it looks like the guys are very, very strong with their stand, with their opinion. We are going to pay up and don't waste a lot of time in the market. So I'm gonna be updating you. The fee is not yet agreed, guys. It is just a bid on the table. But Fabrizio says now the confidence is through the roof. The optimism is very, very high, and we are expecting a here we go very, very soon. So if Shakhtar weigh this offer and they look at the amount of add-ons Arsenal have offered, the optimism could actually even increase by the time I'm off this show, or by the time we end this day. So expect me to be recording a couple of videos about Mykhaylo Mudryk, deal done, deal closed. A few details are being ironed out. All those things, the moment I get an update, I will be able to actually let you know. But he is our man. He is our player. And I just kind of feel like we are winning the transfer window. Right? Listen to me. Man United getting Wout Weghorst is a very, very nice move, because he just gives me those vibes of Sebastian Haller at Ajax, and with Erik ten Hag, you never know what he's gonna turn a player into, right? So he just gives me those vibes. Then with Chelsea, Joao Felix, I looked at him for a few minutes yesterday. He's going to be a success, right? But the problem here is that you're gonna have a good player that is not yours. He's never gonna stay at Chelsea. But what a player. We looked at him yesterday in that Fulham game. What a guy. He's really going to add something to that Chelsea team. Cody Gakpo at Liverpool, no questions there. He's going to be a very, very massive signing, especially under Jurgen Klopp. He's a genius with when it comes to young talent, young players, and just turning them into beasts and turning them into what you never thought they would actually become. But at the end of the day, when I think about all that, maybe Spurs signing Pedro Porro, when I think about all that, I feel like we've got the best talent in January. I feel like we've got the best deal in January. And we've actually gotten a player who speaks to our needs at the moment. A goal-scoring winger, young, versatile, can play anywhere on that forward line. A player who can give us a lot of squad depth. A player who's going to give us a lot of quality, especially in games where it is actually dying, right? Look, for me, Mykhaylo Mudryk, if it comes in the Newcastle game, and I told you this, if it comes on in the Newcastle game, maybe we don't win it. But there is a change. And it's going to be in games like this, Man United at the Emirates, Spurs at the White Hart Lane, probably that next campaign, not only this campaign, Manchester City. It's going to be in games like this where, Arsenal need some kind of, miracle, some kind of genius. It's in games like that Mykhaylo Mudryk is going to be most important, especially in games where Arsenal will not have a lot of possession, the Manchester City games, and we're going to need a lot of runners, fast thinkers, fast runners, players that are quickly very, very decisive. I think he's the kind of guy. I can't wait to see him in this Arsenal side. I can't wait to see him play for Arsenal. I just can't wait, okay? And I don't want to be overly excited. The deal is on the table. Please, Shakhtar, do not disappoint me this time. And I'm going to make a prediction once again. I'm going to commit myself for the third time. Please, come on, Shakhtar, please. I'm committing myself for the third time This time, there is no way they are turning it down. Yeah, I know. I see. You've already said, well, Cossy, you've said that for 2 times and they have turned the bids down. But this time, I don't see them turn it down. We've talked to them. We've understood what they want. We've understood literally every single bid. And we've gone in with the perfect bid. They should accept this one. They should, honestly, take this one. And I'm going to say now this deal, guys. On a scale of 100%, we are at 85% now. It's a few details, maybe the 5% on add-ons, the 5% on the structure, and then the personal terms, which are not expected to be a problem, and then the deal will actually be done, right? So in terms of the next steps, Arsenal looking at 2 players now, Serge Milinkovic-Savic in midfield and Yuri Tillemans. I've received information that Yuri Tillemans could actually be the player Arsenal want to go for. So Danilo is not an option. He will go to Nottingham Forest. As talks are progressing very, very positively for Nottingham. I got no problems with Forest. I just wanted Danilo as a player. But it could be that Mikel Arteta's focus is Yuri Tillemans, and the player is actually more geared towards leaving Leicester in January rather than in the summer. Serge Milinkovic-Savic is another player that has been offered to Juventus for 6 million euros, and Arsenal would have to pay in excess of 20 million euros to get the deal done in January. This is Lazio being desperate, isn't it? I mean, I hate to say it, but they've never wanted to sell. I don't know if he's gonna sign a new deal or anything, but I want to look at a couple of Italian sources on this one, and then I'll give my opinion on Serge Milinkovic-Savic. But we might be looking at a midfielder next. I'll see you very, very soon.